UFC Fight Night in Abu Dhabi. Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar providing your featherweight main event. It's a former featherweight champion in Max Holloway, trying to rebound off of 2 straight losses to the current champ, Alexander Volakanovski, taking on the Boston finisher, Calvin Kattar. Kattar been knocking dudes out. He's won 4 of his last fights, 3 of those coming by knockout. Pick it up in round 2. Holloway splitting open Kattar with a massive elbow, then starting to pour it on top of it. I mean, significant strikes, just the name of the game in this one. Later in the second, Holloway connecting this time with a head kick. Wobbles Kattar, but he's saved by the bell. The two exchange a smile and some blood. Kattar feeling it after round 2. We're not even halfway home, fellas. Late in the third round, Kattar answering, throwing a 3-punch combo, but can't find anything. Holloway slips him and hits him with a little robot because, you know, it's not combat sports or anything if you're not dancing. Round 4. Holloway putting the pressure back on, landing elbows, punches to the body, head, body, head, head, body, head, giving the Boston boy a taste of his own medicine. Kattar fighting through. Not sure we needed a 5th round, but we got a 5th round. Holloway talking to the commentary team, knowing that he's got this one knotted up. Just needs to stay standing. Kattar still throwing punches. Holloway applying pressure into the final moments. Max Holloway reminding everybody why he was once the top featherweight in the world and could once again be that. Wins via a dominant unanimous decision. Max Holloway, your winner in the main event. Here's a look at your winning wagers. Holloway to win was the favorite, -160. If you had him by decision, that's your plus money right there at +125. But plus having this one going the distance was minus money as well. After the fight, Holloway said he's sticking around for the week in Abu Dhabi just in case anything happens to Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. He wants to step in, fight above his weight class. All right, let's get our guy into the mix. CBS Sports combat analyst, co-host of the Morning Combat Podcast, the king of swing, Brian Campbell. BC, that was a show I'm not sure network television was prepared for. The main event, an absolute war of wills. Calvin Kattar, almost too tough for his own good. Max Holloway applying a gruesome pressure from the opening bell. Put that war into words for us, BC.
This was a masterful performance from the former champion, Max Holloway. Yes, you give a ton of credit for Calvin Kattar, who could have survived 5 rounds of that type of violence, a very short list of foes. But the real headline this one is that Holloway's back to his old tricks. He's only 29. It's just that he's been in so many big fights. He's held the UFC Featherweight Championship before that there was some question coming in. Is this a sneaky trap fight for him against a top 10 ranked, hard-fought guy in Kattar? Or is this going to be his ticket back to the title picture? We do know that Max Holloway lost a disputed split decision in the rematch to champion Alexander Volakanovski last summer. But what this performance showed you over 5 rounds, the speed, the crispness, the power, the variety of the combinations, is that Max Holloway is still evolving as a fighter. And this may have been his best performance to date. Top to bottom, he was an absolute destroyer out there. But it was because of the heart and the chin of Kattar, we ended up seeing not a fight of the year contender, but certainly a fun, action, violent affair.
Yeah, truly a masterclass from Holloway. You talk about that toughness out of Kattar. We love this stuff, BC. The boxing prowess, we got to see the surgical striking. 2 dudes simply putting the ultimate toughness to the test. But from where I'm sitting, we really didn't need to see that 5th round. Do you fault Herb Dean for not stopping this a little earlier?
You know, it's certainly worth debating. It didn't seem for most of that fight like Calvin Kattar was in it at all, that only his toughness was keeping him in it. There were multiple moments as he had a bloody face from a cut on his right eye that he looked ready to go in that 4th round. I think the problem, though, right, if you're Herb Dean or if you're Calvin Kattar's team, is you saw how the ending of that 4th round played out. This turned out to be one of the more exciting rounds in recent memory, and you had a determined, stubborn Calvin Kattar land heavy, hard shots as sort of a wounded animal with his back against the cage, that not only did Max Holloway take a step back, I think Max Holloway came close to maybe gassing out a bit, going for the finish here. Suddenly, Kattar was back in, and what we do know in combat sports is you can hit a 10-run Grand Slam home run in 1 second with one big shot. So knowing his toughness, knowing that at 32, Calvin Kattar may never get another opportunity like this, which is to fight a former champion with a shot at entering into that top circle in his own division, looking for his first championship. Could you debate they could have pulled him early to save him for the long run in terms of his health? Definitely. But this was his moment. This was his chance. And you got to give Calvin Kattar some credit. I don't know if it's a consolation victory. I don't know if it's a moral victory. but his toughness prevented Herb Dean from really having a perfect moment to jump in. Yes, Kattar took a beating in the end, but there were little hints, little moments there at times where you started to wonder, is he back in this fight? He's down 1,000,000 points on the cards, but this guy is tough as nails. Something to build on, maybe. But this was a tough outing from a tough man here.
Yeah, you make a great point there. Kattar, in a way, almost feels like the new blood in this situation because we've seen Max Holloway in these instances before. Quite the opposite, BC. Holloway comes into this bout already a top contender at the featherweight, in the featherweight division. He once again thrusts himself right into that conversation for another title bout, a former champion. Does this performance put him squarely in line to reclaim that belt that once was his?
I think it does. I think he gets that next opportunity after Brian Ortega. Reports out there that champion Alexander Volakanovski will defend next against Brian Ortega, a guy Max Holloway beat 2 years ago, but he looks great, fresh and looks great right now. March 20th is the date. UFC 260 they are targeting. You have to believe the next fight after that would be a trilogy here. Holloway and the champion Volkanovski. And this is very rare, right? For a fighter to lose the first 2 fights in a series, in a rivalry, and still get an opportunity at a third fight. But that first fight, very close but convincing win for Volkanovski. The second fight was a flip a coin, a very disputed split one. Does Max Holloway look better right now than maybe he did coming into those first 2 fights? I think you can make that case after watching this masterpiece against Calvin Kattar. I would like Max Holloway's chances a lot going into a trilogy with Alexander Volakanovski. It's been a fun rivalry, a lot of high-speed chess. But you saw a savage version of Holloway this time around. A guy was ready to go after it.
That we did. Alexander Volakanovski also active on Twitter throughout that fight, tweeting some eye emojis, some other reactions to the performance put on there by Max Holloway. We did have some notable news outside of the octagon as well on Saturday. Sort of, that is. UFC President Dana White offering an update on the fighting future of Habib Nurmagomedov. The current title holder, at 155, retired back in October. Told White Friday night that he plans to watch UFC 257 next Saturday. If Poirier-McGregor, quote, show him something, he could make a return. BC, 2-part question here. How do you read into that statement, and does this lead you to believe that Habib has his mother's blessing to return to the octagon? Because we know that was a big part of his reason for retirement.
Look, my problem with this whole situation is we're not hearing this come out of Habib's mouth. And this isn't me necessarily saying, don't believe Dana White, he might be lying. But the last few months, all we've heard from Habib in any interview is he doesn't want to come back. He is retired, and you've heard Dana White saying, I don't know. I think he might be interesting and to try to go 30-0. The significance there is that Habib's late father, Abdulmanap, who died last summer after COVID complications, it was one of his final wishes that maybe Habib would retire at 30-0. It seems Habib has promised his mother that this would be it. I tend to believe that is still the case, although obviously Dana's very cryptic. Maybe here is somewhat interesting. I do know the salesman in Dana, this does kind of look like maybe an attempt to get more eyes on the big pay-per-view next weekend, UFC 257, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, with the big lightweight co-main event, Michael Chandler in there going in. Is this a way for maybe us to be watching a little bit closer, saying, will Habib take the bait? I'm not really so sure at this point. If anyone is a man of conviction and stands by what they believe in, it certainly seems like that's Habib Nurmagomedov. But not knowing the extent of what they actually talked about or hearing it out of Habib's mouth, still very skeptical up to this point.
Well, we will continue to come to you through it all, BC. We thank you.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.